It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, answer, yes! Caught! Touchdown, they did it!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker, hour number 2 here on the Full Court Press. 5 o'clock hour. Talking about a couple different things in high school sports. Looking ahead to the Mountain West football schedule this weekend as well. We got playoffs underway. We've already talked about the girls soccer championship. The first round of the high school football playoffs are underway today. One game kicking off just as we're starting the 5 o'clock hour here. So we'll give a rundown of who's playing where, what's on the line here, kind of a look at their seasons so far and how they got here, and the different matchups on the line. So, Jason, the team that you normally follow, the Logan High Grizzlies, kicking off as we speak, taking on Dixie down in southern Utah. And both teams really kind of not having great seasons here, but an opportunity for Logan to try to reset. They didn't have a game in the fall break week, a little bit of time to recover, kind of figure out where they're at, and try to position themselves to make a run in the postseason.
Yeah, I think if there's something that's nice about this RPI system and everyone making the playoffs and handing out so many first-round buys, I think there's, 7, 8 teams that get a first-round buy?
8, yeah.
8, yeah. It means Logan's not going to get their, brains blown out by the top team in the state, so to speak. Not to insult Logan, but not having a great season, they've had a lot of blowouts, and that's what happened to a lot of schools. But they get to play. They're the 20th seed in the based on the RPI. They're facing the number 13 seed in Dixie. Dixie not having the greatest season either. Slightly better than Logan, a little more competitive in more of their games, which is probably where you're maybe a bit worried, whereas Dixie has a similar-ish record. They've been a lot more competitive against a lot better teams than Logan has. But still, it's not as tough of a team. And so Logan certainly with a chance, time to rest, time to, recoup, get ready for this game, and if, at worst, hopefully you just go out with the last hurrah.
Yeah, so Logan coming into this game with a 2-7 overall record. Dixie at 4-6. Comparing these two teams, you talk about Dixie being more competitive. They average just under 22 points a game on offense. They give up about 28 points per game on offense. So pretty close in the games that they've played. Much different situation for Logan. The Grizzlies averaging about 17 points a game on offense, but giving up 36.5 on defense. Very different story for the Grizzlies than it is for the Flyers.
Yeah, they've really struggled on defense. We've seen a lot of good, flashes from the Logan offense. They've struggled to be consistent on offense. But you've seen some good things from Keaton Pond, from Cooper Red, and from others, and even a couple of up-and-coming freshmen who are playing really well, Chase Pingree and others. So seeing some good things from Logan, but obviously just not enough consistency, not enough consistent execution. And, yeah, it's led to some pretty lopsided scores in region play.
For Dixie, this is a team that when they win, it's because they're scoring a lot of points. When they lose, they barely manage 2 touchdowns. So in their wins, they're averaging almost 33 points a game, but in their losses, only 14. So it's a very different team for Dixie. They're kind of Jekyll and Hyde in that situation. They've had 6 games decided by a touchdown or less overall, whether they've won or lost some of those. 6 games by a touchdown or less. So they've been very competitive in a lot of their games this season.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about, you look at their region, some of their region games where they play Pineview to a 29-28 win, Desert Hills 27-26, yes. Cedar 31-28. So those are some of their wins, and they lose, to Snow Canyon 14-10, and Crimson Cliffs 56-14. So like I said, when they win, they're getting up into the 20s, 30s. When they lose, they're getting held to a lot less. This game, with Logan not being terribly great on defense, if Logan is competitive, you will see a game in the high 20s, low 30s. That's what it would probably look like. We'll see if Logan's offense can produce that, and if the defense can maybe sneak in a couple of turnovers to help their cause, and obviously help the Logan offense. So we'll see if that ends up happening. But if Logan is competitive in this game, it's going to be a fairly high-scoring one.
One common opponent. Logan faced Pineview to start the season. Pineview had been on a really bad streak going into that game, and they kind of wanted to set the tone for the season to come, and they beat up on the Grizzlies. Now, that game was fairly close through 3 quarters, and then Pineview really pulled away and kind of piled on. But and so they beat the Grizzlies 43-19. Dixie ended up beating Pineview, as you mentioned, 29-28 in a close contest. So, I mean, that's later on in the season. I think things are a little bit different at that point. So I don't know that there's a lot to take away, but sometimes it is interesting to look at common opponents and to see how the results may have been similar or different.
Now you can see it in the, as you said, that the score is deceptive with that Logan Pineview game where it was competitive for a lot of that game, and then Pineview's competitive with Dixie. So there's some room for optimism there. It's not going to be an even swap, just to say that, they were both competitive against Pineview, therefore they will be competitive in this game. Logan's got to come out and they've got to play really well. They had a lot more guys healthy when they played Pineview than they are going to have now.
That's fair.
So
that's a good point.
They're going to have a lot of guys step up in this game on both sides of the ball, and especially in the trenches, if they want to have a chance to compete. And I think Coach Mund, he's done well to get the most out of this team as he's been able to with a lot of the struggles that Logan program has to deal with.
So that game broadcasting right now on our sister station, KVNU, 102.1 FM, 610 AM. And we're relying on our friends from Southern Utah to call the game. So it may be a bit one-sided if you're listening, though they're going to try to be objective as they can. But certainly they'll be more familiar with Dixie, so don't get too upset.
Now, you won't get to hear my lovely voice.
We will get to hear your lovely voice on another game tonight, though.
Yes, you will.
It's kicking off here a little bit later on, and that's going to be Bear River at Spanish Fork. Interesting matchup here, number 16 versus number 17, just the way the RPI works. And you look at their records and a lot of the different measurables about these teams, it's going to be kind of hard to figure out who's going to win this game. Both are Bear River's at 3-7, Spanish Fork at 3-6. Bear River comes into this game on a 5-game losing streak. Spanish Fork comes into this game on a 4-game losing streak. Both teams looking to try to reset here and be a little bit better than they've been. The advantage is that, I don't know that there is advantage. They both played last Friday, so it's not like one team had a week off or has had extra time to prepare. Two teams that are pretty even in a lot of different ways that you look at them.
Yeah, these are two teams that were just outmatched in region play for the most part. Took a lot of lumps, had some good things in non-region play. We saw a lot of good things from Bear River early on. Then they beat up on Logan in week 1 of region play, and then it was just kind of downhill from there. I shouldn't even say downhill because they were competitive in a lot of those games. Just it seems Bear River was trying to take, a next step up, be able to win at least a couple of games in region play, but just couldn't quite get it done against what was a brutal, top end of Region 11.
Yeah.
But so I'd give Bear River and Spanish Fork each a chance. They're both going to look at the other team saying, all right, they're pretty much on equal footing as far as record, where they were in their region. Just so much about these teams on paper is equal. And so at this point, you just got to fight it out on the football field. Who's got the better matchups? We've seen some really great playmakers on Bear River. I haven't had a chance to watch Spanish Fork yet, so I can only see what they are on paper. But I know Bear River has some explosiveness in them, and that can really help. They're going to have to go on the road and do it. But I think they've certainly got a lot of talented kids, enough to get some quality wins.
Yeah, these are equal opponents. So this is going to come down to the drive, just that competitive nature. Really may just come down to who has the better defensive game here, because both teams offensively can get things going. Because you look at average points per game, and I know that only kind of gives you a snapshot of the full season, but Bear River just under 30 points a game on offense. Spanish Fork about 27. It's pretty similar. And defensively, it's about the same thing. Bear River giving up about 28 points per game. Spanish Fork about 24. So very similar. It's just going to come down to those little things for the Bears. If they can get things rolling on defense, that may be the key here. Though this team, when it has succeeded, is because they've just had really solid offense.
Yeah, honestly, you have a couple different ways for a team to win this. One is, if we just have an old-fashioned shootout and somebody just happens to score more points, you end up with a game in like the 40s or 50s. Or it's going to come down to a team making some big defensive plays. You look at both of these teams, again, just a lot of similarities. You mentioned, just raw points per game, very similar. The way they've won games, you look at non-region for both sides that have some blowouts. They hold some teams to a low number of points. Teams that are probably just frankly better than. And they face some good teams, and then they score in the 20s, have a kind of mediocre offensive game, but give up a few too many points into the 30s and 40s. So it's just these two teams have had two types of games. They're just better, or they get outclassed by maybe a better team where they're not, they don't get blown out like 45-7. They lose like 44-28. That kind of game. So we'll just see. Does one of these teams win at 44-28, or is it a 45-41 game? I don't know. That's kind of the two types of game I'm looking at, where maybe one of these teams just makes the defensive plays, or we end up with both teams scoring tons of points.
So during the Bear River 5-game losing streak, they were averaging 21 points on offense, giving up 31 on defense. During the 4-game losing streak for Spanish Fork, they were scoring 22.5 points on offense, giving up a little under 28. So their gap was a lot closer than Bear River's was. But also, this is another situation where there is a common opponent between the two. One was in a non-region situation, one was in region. I think that matters, kind of like what we talked about with Logan. A region game, those games that you're more familiar with each other, there's more familiarity there on coaches and players, so those outcomes are a little bit different than if you're a non-region where you're not used to playing each other. But Bear River just played Salem Hills, and they lost 21-7 just last week. And Spanish Fork faced Salem Hills about a month ago, and that was a close one, but they still lost 16-13. But it was a close game. So, I don't know. These are two teams that seem to be pretty evenly matched just with their seasons overall. I think that Bear River has shown an ability to be explosive when they can on offense, and they're going to need to do that today to survive to the next round.
Yeah, that's going to be a big key. The offense is going to be a big key, but I do think the defense more so, because when Bear River's won, it's been a lot more down to their defense than their offense. In there, a lot of their wins, they're scoring a ton of points. But, they scored a decent amount of points in most of their games. They need to be able to play some defense. Hold, Spanish Fork to hopefully under 30 points. I think Bear River's certainly capable of scoring that many points. They just need to hold Spanish Fork down. So the key to winning will be in their defense, although obviously scoring a lot of points needs to be part of the equation. It's just the difference in Bear River wins and losses tends to be in their defense. So that's why, to me, that's the biggest key.
Exclusive local coverage of the Bear River Bears will be on 104.9 The Ranch. We'll have options to listen on CashValleyDaily.com as well. Jason, you're going to be making the trip down to that game and calling it with Josh Anderson. You guys saw Bear River play against Logan. Was that game in Logan, or did you make the trip to Bear River?
That Bear River? It's Bear River's homecoming. So we were covering it there for the Grizzlies. Well, this time we're going to switch allegiances, I guess, calling it from the Bear River perspective. So yeah, we've had a chance to see these Bear River Bears play. So hope to see another good game, and this time, if they blow the other team out, won't be as disappointed.
There you go. So that game is scheduled to start at 6. So pregame coverage at about 5:50.
Yeah, thereabouts.
On 104.9 The Ranch in Box Elder County. Also ways to listen on CashValleyDaily.com. The last game involving a Region 11 team tonight is Mountain Crest Mustangs, and they are at home. They are the one team at home this weekend, taking on Tooele. Mountain Crest is 5-5. Tooele is 4-6. And Jason, looking at this game, this comes down to that Tooele offense versus the Mountain Crest defense. Tooele's been able to score points. Mountain Crest has been able to be pretty stout on defense, and I think those are the two teams and their strengths meeting each other in Hiram tonight.
And it'll be interesting, but to be honest, I'd certainly give a bit of an edge to Mountain Crest. Maybe I'm just biased because I've had a chance to follow the Mustangs and watch them, where I feel like they're a really underrated team. Based on, well, they're 12 seats. It's not like they're super underrated, but I think they should be able to win this game. And I mean, they went up against Skyview's elite offense, held them to 27 points, and well, heck, 8 of those came off a pick six. So it's like they just about shut down one of the best offenses in the state. So I think they can very much do the same thing against Tooele. And Mountain Crest did that to Skyview on the road.
Right, in Smithfield.
Mustangs get Tooele at home, so I think their defense is more than capable of taking it to Tooele.
And Tooele, consequently, does not have a good defense. Mountain Crest has a solid offense. Their defense is certainly, I think, more of their strength, but their offense has been improving. Tooele has a good offense, but they'd have a bad defense. And so I definitely give the edge here to the Mustangs. Mountain Crest only has one loss by more than one touchdown. So they have been in almost every game that they've played. But Tooele, they have 4 losses that are by more than 2 scores. So when they lose big.
Yeah, and that's what I talk about Mountain Crest being a little underrated, even though they're in the top half of sittings, just because they have been competitive. They're competitive against everyone. And they have, they're obviously probably better on defense than they are on offense, but are a fairly balanced team, capable of stopping teams, capable of scoring on teams. They're not perfect. They've made mistakes. They've obviously lost a lot of games. So I think they're 5-5, right?
Mountain Crest, yes.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, I think they're going to win this game. I'm very confident they'll win this game. I mean, last year they had an even worse offense, and they still went pretty far because they were able to have that defense carry them.
Right.
And they ended up kind of being underrated that year. And I think this year their offense is better. Defense is, no worse off than last year's, I don't think. So there's no reason they shouldn't win this game and perhaps even a second-round game.
Yeah, Mountain Crest is one team that may be a little bit deceptive when you look at just their record and think, oh, that's a mediocre team. They will prove you wrong. They are not a mediocre team.
They are not a mediocre. I know we had the conversation yesterday about being better than your record, and I very much think Mountain Crest is a little better than its record with how well they've played against quality opponents. Haven't gotten the wins against quality opponents for the most part, but I think in the playoffs they're certainly capable of getting those wins.
Mountain Crest hosting Tooele in the opening round of the 4A football playoffs. Tonight, 6 o'clock is when it kicks off. Pre-game coverage about 5:50. 107.7 FM, also video streaming on CashValleyDaily.com. So multiple ways to follow that game. Again, Bear River at Spanish Fork. That game also starts at 6 on 104.9 The Ranch in Box Elder County. Ways to listen on Cache Valley Daily. And Logan at Dixie. There will be video of that game, but it'll also be on KVNU, 102.1 FM, 610 AM. Just not any of our crew calling the game. So just be forewarned. Devin Dixon will be calling it, and he's pretty solid, but sometimes he can be a bit of a homer for Southern Utah schools.
That's the way we are.
But I mean, it's the same for our crews up here.
I understand. They carry our broadcast sometimes. We do the same thing to them. So
yes,
it's a little give and take there.
It's a fair turnabout. Yes. So that's what's going on for high school football, and of course, after tonight's games, we'll have the scoreboard on Cache Valley Daily with what happens next for these teams. Do they survive and move on to the next round? Do they face another region opponent in the second round? And who is it that Skyview, Green Canyon, and Ridgeline will be facing and preparing for next week? We'll have all of that on CashValleyDaily.com. All right, timeout here on the Full Court Press. And when we come back, let's look at the Mountain West schedule for this upcoming weekend. Pretty busy one for Saturday. couple teams have some bye weeks and aren't playing, but and one team has a non-conference game this weekend. We'll update you on who's playing where and what's on the line in some of these matchups throughout the Mountain West Conference next here on 106.9 FM, 1390.
Do you have a backup generator, or have you explored the options of adding one to your home? Generac backup generators will keep your home or business safe and cool during the summer months if the power goes out. Do you already have a system? Golden Spike Electric can service it for you. If you don't have one, Golden Spike Electric can find the right model for your needs. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac, power you can count on.
Nearly 21 years ago, Cafe Sabor opened their doors in historic Logan train station. With the help of hundreds of amazing employees and patronage of thousands of wonderful customers, Cafe Sabor is proud to have been voted 3 years in a row Cache Valley's favorite Mexican restaurant in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Follow Cafe Sabor on social media for giveaways and promotions. Search Cafe Sabor for a restaurant near you. Thank you, Cache Valley, from your friends at Cafe Sabor.
Stay safe and do it fast. We're always asked by customers if they need snow tires. Fact is, winter tires have the best traction when temperatures drop below 45 degrees. Snow tires offer better braking and cornering, and Ron Keller Tire has the data to prove it. If you're concerned about winter driving, let Ron Keller Tire keep you safe and do it fast. That's the Ron Keller Tire difference. Why wait?
Why wait? Ron Keller Tire.
Logan, Tremont, and Preston and Malad.
Why wait?
Hello, I'm Zane Johnson, personal banker and operations manager at Cache Valley Bank. With nearly a decade of banking experience, I enjoy meeting new people and helping them with their banking needs. I have a reliable team who demonstrate the personalized attention and exceptional service you deserve. Come visit the Smithfield branch and ask for Zane, or give me a call to see what opening an account with Cache Valley Bank can do for you. I look forward to meeting you. Hablo Español, Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
As the leaves fall, so do the prices at Murdoch GMC. Harvest the best deals during our fall sales event. The summer heat is cooling off, and there's no better time to get out and drive. Right now, receive 3.9% for 5 years plus $750 bonus cash on a new 2023 Sierra. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family. At Murdoch Chevrolet GMC Cadillac and Logan, or online at murdochchevroletlogan.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Call 866-628-3065 or see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 10/31/23.
Northern Utah and Southern Idaho's home for sports. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan. Of course, we got high school games going on right now with Logan underway at Dixie. More updates on that later on in the show. Bear River on the road at Spanish Fork. That game's at 6. And Mountain Crest hosting Tooele also at 6. Details on how to listen and follow along for all three of those games right now on CacheValleyDaily.com. But shifting gears, talking about the Mountain West Conference and the college football weekend, and a number of games in action. There is one non-conference game for Mountain West School, and that's Air Force on their typical non-conference schedule facing the other service academies this weekend. They're at Navy, who's 3-3, 10 o'clock on CBS, so great exposure for the Falcons. And Navy kind of struggling this year. Air Force is favored by 10, over under 33.5. Figuring to be a low-scoring game with a lot of running. I actually think I would take the over, just the way the Air Force has actually been playing well offensively and defensively this season.
Well, I'd worry a little bit because Zach Larrier is going to be out for Air Force, who I know he's quarterback and passing, and Air Force doesn't pass a ton, but he's a big part of their running game. He's been arguably their best runner on the season. I don't think he's leading the team in rushing, but he's been a spectacular runner for the Falcons, so that's going to be a big hit to them. I don't know if their backup's going to do particularly well. I mean, when their backup came in against Wyoming, he immediately fumbled a handoff. So we'll see how that goes. So I don't know, in these, triple option against triple option, they tend to be low-scoring affairs, unless one team does happen to blow out the other, which Air Force has done in recent years. But with both teams knowing the option pretty well, they tend to play it pretty well. It ends up being low-scoring. Both teams running the ball a lot, so I think it'll be another low-scoring one. I don't know if I'd take the under, but 33 total points seems about what I'd expect out of these two squads.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know that it's going to be like way over, but I do think that if I were a betting man, which I'm not, you can't do that in Utah.
Nope.
But I would think that Air Force takes care of business here in that one. But again, 10 o'clock on CBS, 10 a.m., great showcase for Air Force on national TV as they have become a top 25 team in the both polls.
Yeah, they've been doing really solid this year, 6-0. I know losing Larry is maybe going to hurt a little bit. Well, this will be our first window into seeing how well they handled that loss for may end up being the rest of the season, or at least a while, I think was the wordage, the phrasing used. It's going to be out a while.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, these Service Academy games, even though the style of play is what some might charitably call archaic, a lot of people love watching these games, Nick. I like watching them, too. I usually tune into these games.
When it's something unique, when it's something you don't see every day, it's worth tuning into just to see, like, I mean, that's different. That's a different brand of football right there.
Yeah. It's also the service academies. There's a lot of people love supporting the troops.
Yeah,
so.
And there's a lot of cool things that happen with it, and you end up seeing a lot of cadets, and there's probably going to be some military stuff around. I've seen that before in some of these games where they have.
There's going to be a bunch of people in funny white hats in the stands.
Right, there's going to be that. Yeah, so it'll be fun. It'll be cool to see how that plays out in Annapolis, Maryland. Then there's kind of a gap. And then the rest of the Mountain West schedule is in the afternoon, later afternoon for a couple of games. Hawaii at New Mexico, two teams that haven't won a game yet in conference play, two teams who only have 2 wins. Hawaii favored by 1 point in this one. So this is almost a straight-up pick-em game here in Albuquerque with these two teams trying to find something. Hawaii has had moments where they look pretty good offensively. They just have been really inconsistent, and that's similar been the case for New Mexico.
Yeah, and this really just is kind of a pick-em. Maybe a favor of the home team because of the home team, but Hawaii has generally looked a little bit better, so there's kind of arguments for either side. For both of these teams, it's a game for them to maybe pretend they're maybe turning things around, both in terms of attitude inside the team and outside the team. I don't know if either are actually going to turn their season around at this point and push toward a bowl game. It's just teams at the bottom of the conference are playing each other. One of them's got to win.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody's going to be 0-3. That's Saturday night.
Yeah, somebody's getting their first conference win, whether it's Hawaii, whether it's New Mexico. I'd probably lean toward Hawaii. They've been a little more competent, but heaven knows anything can happen in college football these days.
Yes, that's true. So that's at 4 o'clock. At 5, we obviously have the Utah State Aggies on CBS Sports Network at San Jose State. Both teams 1-2 in conference play. We've gone through kind of our predictions, how we think things will play out. But they're not the only game starting at 5 o'clock. Colorado State at UNLV. And this one could be really interesting. UNLV is favored by 7.5. Colorado State has had moments where, gosh, they'll play down to the wire and they'll make plays. And you're like, holy cow, the Rams might be for real, like they did in Boulder, like they did against Boise. And then they have games where they lose by 20 to Utah State. So UNLV, consequently, 5-1. Are they for real? This is a team that's winning a lot of games, scoring a lot of points, but who have they really played? So this one could be very interesting to see how it plays out in Las Vegas.
Yeah, certainly. Because you look at their UNLV's conference games so far, it's Hawaii and Nevada, two of the least impressive teams in the conference. So, yeah, you would hope they'd win. And they won fairly handily, beat them by about 20 points each time. Yeah, now they face Colorado State, who's coming fresh off that thrilling victory over Boise State. So how UNLV, you're looking at this result and you're looking a lot more about UNLV. This is going to tell us a lot more about UNLV than it does about Colorado State. 'Cause Colorado State, well, they're up and down anyway. If they win this game, I guess it means they're still up.
Yes.
For UNLV, if they lose this game or barely win it, then you're, talking about maybe a little more closer to being a fraud than being a legit. If they win, they'd be 6-1 overall, 3-0 in conference play. But you wouldn't be quite as confident about that as they head into games because they've got Fresno State later on the schedule, Wyoming, Air Force, San Jose State. Their schedule gets a lot tougher.
Considerably more challenging.
Yeah, but they do get to play New Mexico. So they get to play all the easy teams, but they also play all the hardest teams. So, nobody in the middle. I guess Boise State's kind of or they don't play Boise. They don't play like anybody in the middle, I guess, maybe other than Colorado State. Because they aren't playing like the Aztecs, the Broncos, the Aggies. They're playing teams at the very top and teams at the bottom. Really weird schedule for UNLV.
And we're hoping after tonight's outcome that San Jose remains one of those teams near the bottom and not one of those in the middle.
Yes. The Aggies and San Jose State are basically right there. They're both 1 and 2.
Yeah. If the Aggies take care of business, then they'll put San Jose State still in that bottom tier.
Yeah, they'll put them in the bottom tier. Aggies will rise a little higher in the middling tier.
Later in the evening, but not too late, 7 o'clock on FS2, winless Nevada at San Diego State. San Diego State 1 and 2 in conference play, 3 and 4 overall. Aztecs are favored by 12.5. Over/under is at 48. And I think that's more a signal of Nevada just is really struggling to do much of anything.
And honestly, if you're San Diego State, they're already getting a little antsy down there. They were expecting a lot more from this season. They're at 3 and 4, 1 and 2. They're struggling to fill their brand new fancy stadium. And if you don't, blow out Nevada, like even a close win over Nevada, people are still going to be frustrated by that. They got to blow them out, establish dominance, because otherwise, San Diego State, they're going down. Like it's kind of rough for them right now.
Aztecs had a 4-game losing streak until they went to Hawaii. They beat the Warriors, but it was a close contest, 41-34. It was a bit of a shootout. I don't know that I would be one to saying that the Aztecs have figured some things out and they're on a better path now. They just happened to play a team that's not having a great season and struggled against that said team. I think they'll beat Nevada, but it may be kind of fool's gold as to where San Diego State really is at. Because, look, Nevada's a team that lost 33-6 to Idaho. It was in the FCS.
Yeah, it's really weird. You look at the Aztecs and the Aggies, and they have identical records. But I feel like there's more positivity towards the Aggies, at least their capability of rising in the conference, as opposed to San Diego State. Now, some of that is the Aggies are going to play a lot easier schedule, but there is a feeling with their last few games that they're at least improving. Whereas the Aztecs, they're just feels like they're just kind of floundering. Obviously, a decent team. They are not a bad team by any stretch, but I feel like with their frustrations, it's feeling like a little bit more missed opportunities. There was a thought they would improve on last year. I thought they were going to improve on last year. I thought they'd be at the top of the conference, at least toward the top of the conference.
The top tier team.
Yeah, they have just not been that. Their offense, thought they were going to figure things out with their offense. I thought Jalen Martin was going to be a better quarterback. He showed some good flashes last year. Nothing. They got nothing. And their defense hasn't been nearly as elite as we thought it was going to be. So, I don't know, just kind of weird.
Yeah, this is an important weekend for a number of teams that are trying to position themselves for bowl eligibility. Colorado State's at 3-3. San Diego State's at 3-4. Like we said, with the Aggies at 3-4. San Jose, they're 2-5. So is New Mexico and Hawaii. A lot has to go right for San Jose, New Mexico, Hawaii to get there.
Yeah, San Jose State. This is probably their last big gasp of trying to get to a bowl. Because, after this, it's still technically possible. But, yeah, 4 in a row for San Jose. And I'd give San Jose State a much better chance of making a bowl than any of the other, 2-win teams in the conference. Because, I'd have them beating any of New Mexico, Hawaii, or Nevada. and by quite a bit. But, yeah, they're losing this game would be huge because then, you have to go on a 4-game winning streak. And while I could see San Jose State winning 4 of their next 5, maybe. I haven't looked at their schedule, but I wouldn't give them 4 out of 4.
For San Jose?
Yeah.
So the Utah State, obviously, Saturday. Then they're at Hawaii they host Fresno, they host San Diego, and they travel to UNLV.
It's possible for them to win 4 out of those. It's a bit of a stretch, but losing to the Aggies, I wouldn't have them winning all 4.
No.
So it would still be possible because I don't think they're outclassed by any of those teams.
But it becomes really hard.
Yeah, it becomes pretty hard.
It becomes hard. So this is a hinge game, I believe, for Utah State. If you're going bowling, you got to win this game. It's not out of the realm of possibility if they lose. There's still opportunities. It just puts more pressure, especially in the San Diego State game. It puts pressure against Boise State, which is already going to be tough just because of the rivalry. I know Boise's been down. They're more vulnerable now than they've been in a long time, but you don't want undue pressure. You don't want the chance of a bowl game to come down to that game. You got enough already distraction with that game. So this is kind of a hinge game in my mind if Utah State's going to get themselves to a position where going bowling is just not even a question. It's obvious that they're going to go bowling. If they win tomorrow, it's going to be a lot more obvious that they're in that position.
Yeah, I think as far as I think you've pretty much nailed it. Where winning against San Jose State means you're definitely going bowling. To me, it's the hinge as far as being able to go bowling. It's kind of this week and next week, or excuse me, not this week and the next game. There's going to be a bye in between the next game, but
right.
It's winning one of the next 2 games. Obviously, it puts a little bit more pressure on winning at San Diego State. You don't want that, but for me, these are the 2 most winnable games aside from obviously New Mexico and Nevada. Like those are the 2 you're penciling in. So of the 3 games that you need to win 1 to go bowling, these are the 2 easiest games: San Jose State and San Diego State. Win one of those 2. Obviously, you'd like to get that done sooner rather than later.
Right. Yeah. Don't leave it to the final game. Don't leave it to the end. If you can take care of business early, then it's going to be a lot easier for your team to avoid other distractions because people are going to ask you about getting to bowl eligibility instead of tell us about New Mexico.
Yeah, and you don't want to walk into the game against Nevada thinking, oh, now we've got to start a 3-game win streak if you haven't beaten San Jose State or San Diego State going into Nevada, because then you might put pressure on yourself and you might end up losing that game. You might somehow end up laying a complete egg, and then, you're mathematically done with 2 weeks to go. That'd be a huge, shot to their confidence. So one of these next 2 games, you'd very much prefer this one. And this is certainly one of the more winnable ones. So for the Aggies, they need to get things done. I think it would show a lot of growth from this team because, they don't have to win. It's not a must-win. Their backs aren't up against the wall. But good teams don't wait until their back's against the wall to make things happen. So if the Aggies go out there and perform their best, they'll have grown a little bit more as a team. They'll have gone on the road in conference play, gotten a win. When they didn't necessarily need it, quote-unquote, to get to one of their major goals, but they're being proactive in getting as eligible as quickly as possible.
So again, Mountain West Conference schools on national TV this weekend. Air Force at Navy, that's 10 a.m. on CBS. Utah State at San Jose State, 5 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. And Nevada at San Diego State, 7 o'clock on FS2. Another timeout here on the Full Court Press. When we come back, some updates on what's going on in high school football. Logan and Dixie underway. Also give you some recaps of what happened earlier this afternoon between Green Canyon and Park City in the 4A Girls Soccer Championship. And then there's some other pretty juicy games in the top 25 college football this weekend. Give a quick run through of games to not miss coming up this weekend in college football.
You can feel the holidays are near. Get your appliances repaired and ready. This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Save $15 off your appliance repair for a limited time. Find the coupon on our website. Did you know Daryl's service is risk-free? If you decide to buy new, instead, you can apply your service call to your purchase. Only at Daryl's. See store for details. Get the best in appliance repair at Daryl's, your first and last call. Find us west on Airport Road. Open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
Hey, this is Jarek with Jarek's Fine Jewelry. This October marks our 15th year anniversary.
So to celebrate, we want to treat you to an anniversary date. Make it a date night on us. Come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. We have thousands of designs to choose from, including the newest custom designs. With no strings attached and no purchase necessary,
we will buy you a sweet treat at Yumberry. The entire month of October, come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping, and Yumberry is on us.
Make date night special. Make it Jarek's.
Are you seeking the best in healthcare services in Northern Utah? Look no further. Aegis Healthcare has been voted the best of Northern Utah. I am Jason Jones. We take pride in providing top quality home care and hospice services to the residents of Northern Utah. Experience the difference with Aegis. Our dedicated team is here to provide compassionate home care and hospice services tailored just for you. Call us today at 723-9000 or visit our website at myaegis.com. Aegis Home Health and Hospice, your trusted partner right here in your community.
Saturday on Compass Media Network's coverage of NCAA football. It's a heavyweight showdown in the SEC as the 11th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide hosts the 17th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers. Hi, it's Greg Daniels. Join Chad Brown and me for all the action as the Crimson Tide look to remain perfect in conference play as the Vols head into Bryant-Denny Stadium with victory on their mind. It's number 11 Alabama and number 17 Tennessee. If it's NCAA football, it's right here.
Pre-game begins Saturday afternoon at 1 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Box Elder residents, the state's wood stove conversion assistance program is coming to you October 16th. Sign up right away as funds will be gone quickly. Advanced Fireplace and Stove in Logan can help you replace your old, outdated wood fireplace and get a rebate of up to $4,300. Advanced Fireplace and Stove is Best of Northern Utah winner in the fireplace category and an authorized vendor for this program. They have rebates of up to $100 from Heat and Glow gas fireplaces or $300 from Quadrifire pellet and wood stoves. Advanced Fireplace and Stove. Online, advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
There's a place to share the joy of your team winning it all, and a place to share a laugh about skiing and taking a fall. There's a place to share photos of pets, or singing in the choir, or the time you ate a pepper and your mouth was on fire. But we could all be better at sharing how we're feeling inside. 76% of employees have struggled with at least one issue that affected their mental health. When you share, you're not alone. Ask about your company's emotional health benefits. Visit heart.org/sharing. Brought to you by the American Heart Association.
The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Here we go. Sadler scores! Green Canyon takes the lead.
Can I do the goal? Can I do the goal?
Goal!
Ah, yes, that was Chloe Sadler getting Green Canyon on the board for their first goal of the afternoon in the 4A Girls Soccer Championship game at America First Field in Sandy. And it was Austin Miller adding it's a goal for insurance later in the second half, and Green Canyon wins 2-0 over Park City, 4A Girls Soccer State Champions. Great season for Green Canyon, not allowing a single goal in the entirety of their playoff run. They were the number one team going into the playoffs, and they remained the number one team with the state championship trophy coming to North Logan. So congratulations to Green Canyon earlier today. That was Stockton Jukes and Adam Lurcher having some fun on the call earlier today, and that audio is archived on CashValleyDaily.com if you want to go back and listen and relive the excitement of that second half for Green Canyon. By the way, an update, we got some high school football going on. So you heard football there. Now let's talk about football. Logan High, they are at Dixie. Dixie scored on their opening drive, and they just scored again. But in the middle there was some other scoring back and forth. Logan is on the board, but they do trail 21-7, and kind of early in the second quarter for that game going on right now. If you want to tune in, that game is being broadcast on our sister station, KVNU 102.1 FM, 610 AM, and also video streaming on CashValleyDaily.com. In fact, get a quick look in here as to what's going on between the Flyers and the Grizzlies. Devin Dixon on the call on the Fan Sports Network.
On the clock, they're going to make them re-kick this. There's a flag down. They're going to back them up.
Yeah, somebody was offsides on the kickoff, so they're going to make them kick it again.
Appreciate Adams Wealth Advisors. Chart your financial future. Schedule a consultation. Go to adamswealthadvisors.com. You can see the gunner on the top of your screen. He's offside.
He's a little early.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see if it's an important penalty. Ball was going to be at the 20 with a touchback, so we'll see what the result of the penalty is.
Now the official will step in and waive this. And he wanted a free kick just to get it into the end zone. That would have been a touchback as well.
He's just practicing. They see how far they can back him up before he.
So, yeah, looks like we've got some kickoff issues here with Dixie and Logan, but you can listen and tune into that game on our sister station, KVNU. Again, Logan currently trailing 21-7, a little over 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. And coming up not too long from now, we got pregame coverage for Bear River at Spanish Fork. That's on 104.9 The Ranch. And Jason Walker and Josh Anderson on that call. And then also Mountain Crest hosting Tooele. That game also kicking off at 6 o'clock in Hiram. Jake Ellis, John Olson on the call for that game. And video streaming, and as well as on 107.7 KLZX. So a lot of different ways to follow these other games. One in progress. Two others will be getting started here very shortly with pregame coverage starting very soon. And we mentioned there was it's a pretty exciting and interesting weekend in college football. Before we get to that, though, I just want to give you another quick update on what's going on with Major League Baseball. The American League Championship Series, for the first time in 4 games, the home team has a lead. The Rangers, after Garcia hit that home run off of Verlander and caused him to get off the mound, the Rangers lead the Astros 4-2 right now in the bottom of the 8th. And it looks like the Rangers have runners on in the bottom of the 8th, both on first and second. So trying to add a few more games, or excuse me, a few more runs as they try to wrap up Game 5 and see the first time that a home team has a lead and maybe even has a victory in this American League Championship Series. Meanwhile, Phillies at Diamondbacks, that'll be later on tonight, Game 4, and that one, TBS is where you can find it, and it'll start just after 6 o'clock. A number of interesting college football games on the schedule this weekend featuring top 25 teams. One of those will be here on the Fan on Saturday afternoon. It'll be Alabama versus Tennessee, number 11 Crimson Tide versus number 17 Volunteers. So that'll be exciting for a Saturday afternoon. If you want to tune in, it'll be here on the Fan. It'll also be on CBS at 1:30. So that will follow the Air Force game at Navy. But also, if you want to go back and forth between a couple of games in the morning, besides just the Air Force game at 10 a.m. on Fox, it's number 7 Penn State at number 3 Ohio State. Both teams are undefeated at this point. Ohio State is the favored team in this one. But that could be a real doozy. You got Washington State at Oregon on ABC at 1:30. Oregon smarting from their loss at Washington. Will they take it out on Washington State? Washington State started off real strong, and they've struggled a little bit once they've gotten into conference play. But got another top 25 showdown later in the day at 5:30 on ABC. Number 16 Duke at number 4 Florida State. And then later on Fox at 6, it's number 14 Utah at number 18 USC. So can the Utes with their defense do enough to slow down the Trojans? And but can offensively the Utah Utes muster enough to keep themselves in that one as well? The Utes have definitely had their way with the Trojans recently. So interesting schedule in top 25. At least those are some to highlight, to pay attention to with our national broadcasts of top 25 teams. And one of those will be here on The Fan on Saturday afternoon. All right, another timeout here in the Full Court Press. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with more reminders about what's going on in local high school sports today. Games going on now, games going on tonight. A championship game that wrapped earlier today. We'll touch on that and recap it coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
The Cache Valley Media Group Logan Holiday Gift Show is presented by Coppins Hallmark Friday and Saturday, November 3rd and 4th at the Riverwoods Conference Center. It's the perfect place to kick off your holiday shopping. Ideas and treats for the entire family. Clothing, books, jewelry, purses, home and holiday decor, baby items, and don't miss everyone's favorite guest, Santa. The Logan Holiday Gift Show presented by Coppins Hallmark Friday and Saturday, November 3rd and 4th at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Start your holiday shopping off right.
We invite you to join us at S.E. Needham Jewelers for an exclusive estate and antique jewelry event this Friday and Saturday, October 20th and 21st. The beauty of antique jewelry shines again at this extraordinary jewelry event. Select from a collection of jewelry from the Georgian, Victorian, Edwardian, and Art Deco periods. Many contemporary treasures, exotic gems, and one-of-a-kind pieces are also available. You will marvel at the craftsmanship and pride of eras gone past. Again, join us all day Friday and Saturday, October 20th and 21st from 10 to 7 p.m. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic and Hearing Aid Center are located in North Logan in the Three Peaks Medical Plaza and Providence on Gateway Drive. Doctors Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette and staff have over 75 years of combined medical experience, providing the very best patient care for ear, nose, and throat conditions. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted. Go to CacheValleyENT.com. That's CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, located in North Logan and Providence.
Prodigy Brewing is celebrating fall in the air. Kids are back in school, USU students are on campus, and weekends are for football. At Prodigy Brewing, you'll find something to satisfy everyone's tastes. Juicy burgers, sizzling wood fire pizzas, tasty salads, and a kids menu.
Alrighty, here's your cheeseburger. Enjoy.
Thank you, Cache Valley, for voting Prodigy Brewing the best bar and grill and best craft beer in northern Utah. Beer. Prodigy Brewing on Center Street in downtown Logan. Extraordinary service and family friendly.
When a friend or loved one is hurt, you want to help them. If your loved one was injured because of someone else's negligent or careless driving, help them by telling them to call the Advocates, now with offices in Cache Valley. We don't charge for the consultation or any meeting after, and you will pay nothing out of pocket while we fight for the settlement your loved one deserves. We only get paid if you do. Call the Advocates today at 801-355-5550 or chat online at utahadvocates.com. Your loved ones deserve an advocate.
Sunday on the Las Vegas Raiders Radio Network, the Silver and Black head to the Windy City to take on the Chicago Bears. Hi, this is Tim Cage. Join Jason Horowitz and Lincoln Kennedy for all the action. Both teams banged up at quarterback with Jimmy Garoppolo and Justin Fields. It'll come down to which running game will get going and which defense will stand tall. It's the Las Vegas Raiders and Chicago Bears. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Pre-game begins Sunday morning at 10:30 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Want to set yourself apart from the competition? The Leadership MBA at Utah State University will help you lead companies and drive change in your organization. You can attend in person in Logan on Thursday evenings or take an interactive online class. Complete your MBA in as little as a year. Apply before November 1st to be considered for a January start. Contact the MBA office for a waiver of the $55 application fee. Learn more at utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com.
Talking the sports you care about. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen here with you to close up shop. Just an update. Dixie has scored again. Logan offensively not able to get going, and they punted the ball away. Dixie picks up the rolling football and decides to have a return for about 40, 50 yards on the return. A few plays later, they find the end zone. So Dixie leading 28-7, about 6.5 minutes to go in the second quarter in that game down in southern Utah. Bear River at Spanish Fork. That game starting here soon. 104.9 The Ranch is where you can listen to that one. Also, a way to listen on CashValleyDaily.com, an exclusive local coverage of that game with local talent. And then Mountain Crest is hosting Tooele tonight, and that game starting here soon as well in Hiram. 107.7 KLZX. That'll be Jake Ellis and John Olson on the call, video streaming on Cache Valley Daily. Once again, congratulations to Green Canyon, the Wolves winning the 4A girls championship against Park City. It was a battle in the first half, but in the end, as the clock struck 0, this Green Canyon team was able to celebrate on the field and raise the trophy, and not allowing a single goal throughout the entire playoffs for Green Canyon. So congratulations to the Wolves and everybody who made that happen. It obviously takes a lot to make that happen. And the Wolves are state champs in 4A soccer. Will there be other state champs in Region 11 in these other sports? We got girls volleyball starting this weekend. We got football underway tonight, and we'll continue to keep an eye on it with scores and details on Cache Valley Daily.